All right, so what we got is a 2011 Toyota Highlander. Customer brought the car back in, was saying that it was showing low oil pressure, and he recently got an oil change 2 months ago, July the 11th, I believe. So when it came in, I definitely smelled oil burning, and of course you can see why. It's all shiny and stuff, and it's on the exhaust. And my first thought was the oil filter, the O-ring, but if you can see, it's not perfect, but as you can see around the O-ring, it is dry. So when I had the customer start the vehicle up, I noticed that I saw some drips coming from, see that little rubber hose there? And if you ever encounter it, that's a common problem. It's just the oil cooler starts to leak. It's very strange to me that Toyota chose to use a rubber hose. And I actually had a customer's car before, one of my personal customers. Right now I'm at the shop, Jiffy Lube, but one of my personal customers, and I attempted to replace it with a rubber hose. It lasted about 2 weeks, and then it blew. So of course, after then, I always recommend everybody to do it with the metal line. So the customer came in earlier today, said he was gonna come back. Honestly, didn't think he was gonna come back, but he's here. So I went ahead and ordered the part, but I'm gonna go ahead and start off by, you know, taking these pieces off first, and then hopefully by the time the parts come in, I can go ahead and install it. So, of course, you don't necessarily have to take this cover off. I did. It's actually on the other bay, but pretty much everything is held in with 10mm bolts. So you don't really have to take this off at all though. Again, it was taken off just to investigate what the problem was, but you got 10mm here, 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 and you got the ones in the back. So you do have to take this off in order to have enough room to actually do the job. So got my trusty power torque electric ratchet. Of course, again, I said in the previous video, eventually I am going to upgrade to the Milwaukee fuel, because that's what I see a lot of people using. But for a budget tool, it works pretty well. And it usually has enough power to break a boat. Now this part right here, this is just a cover. You take this off, and that's where the jack point is, up under the car. But because I'm doing this with one hand, and you see it's gonna get messy because I know it's gonna be some oil that's gonna spill out of here, I'm gonna go ahead and set my phone down and take the rest of these bolts out. So you do not have to take off, I mean you can if this is gonna get in your way, but I left the 2 bolts on the back as far as the belly pan, the main part of the belly pan, but you do have to take off these ones in the front, and the reason being is there's another cover. I guess that would be the forward belly pan, this piece right here. This is going to give you the best access that you need to do the job. So as you can see, I'm not sure exactly where. Wow. I think I'm gonna have to get the car restarted, because I'm seeing oil up here as well, and that's different. But I definitely saw it leaking from this hose here and this hose here. So I guess I'm gonna have to restart the car to make sure that's exactly where it's leaking from, because it could definitely be just here and spraying up to the top. But that is the part, and I'm not sure if you heard the bell on the little previous section before I had to pause it. That was the parts coming in. So be back. Okay, so I'm gonna have my assistant restart the vehicle, and just to make sure that it is where it's leaking from. Just keeping us an eye out. Yep, it's definitely, I don't know if you can see it right there. So it's definitely leaking from the hose. That's what I needed to make sure. Okay, so I went ahead and took out this bracket. This is for the O2 sensor. When I actually do the work, I'm gonna disconnect the hose, disconnect the wire. But I disconnected it back there right now, so we're not gonna deal with a check engine light. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off now that I verified that's where it's leaking from, and start pulling them apart. Now, the last time I had to do this job, these here are easy. It's a 10 millimeter there, 10 there, and it's a 10 somewhere hiding. Then of course you got these 10s here. Now, with the rubber hose, you don't have to take off anything else to make sure it fits. However, with the metal hoses, because they don't bend as easily, what I ended up taking off was either, well, I took off I think I took off this one. But as long as you take off this one or that one, it should then allow you to be able to move the line enough that you can wiggle it in there and just screw it back in. But weirdly, you see how it looks like it's leaking from up here too? It's really fascinating. I wonder if when the car is moving faster, it's spraying up there, because that's odd. It really does appear to be leaking from the top as well. Oh well, guess we're gonna find out in a little bit. So some of these may be a bit awkward to get to, so I may end up using a combination of, especially that one down there. So I may end up using like a combination of a wrench and universals and extensions and things like that. But those bolts, those nuts are all 12 millimeters. And of course you see I already took one off. So I believe it was this one at the top is the one that I took off, because when that one, I remember it's kind of hard to get to. So I think that's exactly what I did, was just took off this one, and it allowed me to kind of swing everything into place. But again, we're gonna find out in a little bit. All right, so as you can see, I now have the old part out. And as I told you, I thought it would be easier with the flexible hose, but even with the flexible hose, I had to take off this top part. Yes. Hold on a second. Yes, what kind of car?
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, 4-cylinder. Was it misfire, multiple cylinder misfire detector?
Average cylinders.
All right, hold it back.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Let me see the paperwork here. Random misfire detected. Those are only, hold up. Tell them they got to go to like AutoZone or someplace like that to get the codes read, because it says it's 9 codes. Those are only 4. We need to know what the additional codes are, because it may be because it's saying random misfire and the misfire on all of them. It may just be a vacuum leak somewhere. Right. So yeah, tell him to run to any of those places to get the code back. If it says anything about system too lean, he got a vacuum leak. All right, I apologize for that. So, you know, as I said, I guess with the hose being intact, it's probably almost just as rigid as the metal hose. So I did have to still disconnect this. Where did I put it? And it's, you know, it's just this piece right here. They're all aluminum, so they should be, trying to get it to focus, but they're aluminum, so they shouldn't get stuck. Of course, you know, they had the reverse Torx bits for it, but I didn't feel like going to my tube backs to get it. It is a 7/32 is what I use. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and put the gasket on the bottom, and probably put the gasket on the bottom definitely, and work a way to hold the gasket on the top so that I can get the part in. All right, be right back. So doing all that, I failed to show you what the new part looks like. This is the new part. As you can see, it's metal. The part number it's a Dorman part number 625022. But yeah, this is the pieces. This is the first time I've ever seen it come with a bolt. I'm not sure exactly, and then you can look at the bolt and tell like it's been used. So I'm not sure exactly what this bolt is for. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the gaskets on first. Okay, so we got the new one in. Oh, got no flashlight on. Oh Lord, my battery going low, so I might have to hurry up and finish this video. So hopefully you can see in here that I got it in. It was a little pressure has to be applied to get this to get in, but of course, like I said, as long as you take off this one at the top, the rest of them go in pretty fine. I just went ahead and I started this one bolt in, and this just keeps the gasket in place and keeps it from sliding out, because of course it'll keep sliding out since it doesn't have both pieces in it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Oh, got the job done. Trying to get my camera to focus. There we go. That's a little bit better. As you can see, we have no more leaks. This one at the bottom was a little tricky getting back in, of course, dealing with hard pipes. I ended up using a 1/4 ratchet and a short extension, and so I was able to get it tightened up. But everything else is good. Got the car running. Car's been running now for about 5 minutes. See no leaks, so I'm gonna continue to let it run as I go ahead and bolt everything back up. But that's the process. So if you ever see oil leaking from any Toyota with a 3.5 V6, or maybe a 3.3 V6, always check there first. Well, after checking to make sure the oil filter and stuff is tight, always check there and